What's up, everyone? Welcome to You'll Never Talk Alone. I'm Joseph Craven. I'm joined by Alex Lebel. Andrew Ainsworth slated to join us later in the program, but we had to go ahead and start recording without him because we are jerks. But it is the middle of the week. We are celebrating some Halloween tonight as we record. Did you have any trick-or-treaters come by your apartment complex, Alex?
I did not. It's been raining and it's very cold. And even though my apartment complex is indoors, I think that still deterred them. There's also not a lot of kids of age to do that. They're all either newborns or non-existent. So it's hard for them to trick or treat. But I am surprised that all of the people in my hallway that smoke a lot of weed, which is very apparent because it just reeks every time you come in after work. I'm surprised they haven't come by looking for snacks or something.
We have a dude that lives like the house behind us who he gets a hold of some pungent stuff apparently. we have
his backyard.
It's rough. Surprised my puppy isn't just like bloodshot eyes all the time just from going outside to pee. We had one family come through, but it is also raining and cold here. So I think that's deterring families. I live in a neighborhood full of families, so I really expected more kids to come through. Also, there's the slight chance that the families in the city of Jackson were told because of possible bad weather to go ahead and do it last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed the memo, and I spent the whole night playing the Fallout 76 beta and didn't notice that my porch light was turned off until like 11 o'clock at night when I was about to like get ready to go to sleep. And I was like, oh, look at that. That's crazy. So there's a slight chance that maybe I messed up Halloween.
Or you just wanted to keep all your candy.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And I ate too much. I've sugar crashed pretty hard tonight. So this is going to be an interesting episode. Let's talk about Liverpool, Fur, and Cardiff City. Okay, there we go. All right, Liverpool 4, Cardiff City 1 was the final score. Of course, that was 2-0 for most of the game. Mohamed Salah getting a goal in the 10th minute, Sadio Mane doubling that up in the 66th. Until Callum Patterson was able to get a 77th minute goal to make it 2-1. Ending the clean sheet at home streak we had. Naturally, it would be Cardiff City, the powerhouse. But of course, not long after that, Xherdan Shaqiri able to get a goal in the 84th, and Sadio Mane doubling up his total in the 87th minute for a comfortable victory. I want to get your impressions about the match as a whole, Alex, but it seemed to me, maybe first and foremost, that the match was very much dominated by Liverpool the whole time. But we had a lot of just really unfortunate events that kind of got in the way of us really being able to score a lot of goals until something finally broke open. And that happened to be after the Cardiff goal. And that's when all of a sudden it's like, okay, here we go. Boom. And we got the two easy ones. It just kind of seemed like we were in control the entire time, but stuff kind of just like little things just went wrong. Like we couldn't get a call, or like we just kind of had a ball that was just a little bit out of reach. That sort of stuff. Does that seem like a fair summation to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really comfortable win. And even after they scored and made it 2-1, nobody was really panicking, which is very unusual for Liverpool fans to not freak out when they're leading and then concede a goal.
We're so conditioned. We're so conditioned at this point.
But I mean, now that the stats been doing the rounds today, that since Van Dijk has joined, we're level on defensive prowess with Atletico Madrid. So we had good reason to feel confident. And I think a big part of us opening the game up and scoring those two quick fire goals after they scored was Xherdan Shaqiri coming on, because he had a huge impact. Again, his goal was immensely well taken. He tied the play together, and the midfield mix of him, Fabinho, and Gini is continuing to impress, even though it didn't get a full 90 today. Not today.
Wow. Who did we play today? How did I miss that?
Halloween is yesterday and today and tomorrow. But yeah, so we looked good throughout the entire match, and we looked even better when Shaqiri came on.
Can you say enough about the spark plug that Shaqiri has been? Like, I mean, I don't know. The signings that we've had in recent memory, we brought in somebody who instantly has an immediate impact. You look at Van Dijk, for example. The moment he stepped on the pitch, it was, oh my gosh, look at that. I've been most surprised, though, with the impact that Shaqiri has had, because I feel like the expectation level was almost non-existent. The expectation was bring this guy in. He's going to be good depth because he can cover a lot of different positions for us if someone has to step out or due to injury, suspension, whatever it may be, just to give him a breather. That's what he was brought in to do. Instead, he's quickly becoming a guy who steps onto the pitch with extreme confidence. I think it was Zach in one of our group texts who mentioned that he's really impressed with the fact that Shaqiri comes in and instantly has this air about him of, I'm the best player out here, and I'm about to do whatever I can to prove that. And I mean, he's just a spark plug of a player. If he's in the starting 11 like he was midweek against Red Star, was that midweek?
Yeah,
against Red Star. Yeah, that was also today. all of the matches were today. Every match has been today. That is us. So if he's been in the starting 11 against Red Star, huge contribution. If he's been coming in relief against Cardiff, huge instant contribution as well. Shaqiri, you just can't say enough about the immediate impact that he has been bringing as a spark plug of a player. And we're happy to announce that Andrew Ainsworth has joined us on the episode. Now, Andrew, how are things going on your end?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there he is.
Hey.
There he is.
Hey.
Long time listener, first time caller. Andrew, have you had any trick-or-treaters over at your place?
No, we turn off the lights.
Okay. I just told Alex that I did too by accident and did not realize it and was wondering why no one was showing up.
Oh, no, I do it on purpose, but I did buy candy.
Love it.
We actually bought a lot of candy like a week and a half ago. And I just assumed it was because my wife really wanted to eat candy. She's like, oh, they're going to be stocked with candy. Let's go buy a bunch of it right now. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And after we'd eaten like half the candy we bought, she was like, man, we shouldn't have gotten it so early for all the trick-or-treaters that are coming. And I was like, you didn't say that to begin with. I thought I was supposed to be eating all these Butterfingers I just picked up. Whatever. My bad. Anyway, Andrew, let's talk a little bit. Since you just jumped in, we haven't really said much of anything about Fabinho as a player as of yet, and that was going to be kind of the next talking point. It's 2 matches in which we've seen, I guess, a decent amount of the guy. And what's your impression of him in these 2 matches against Red Star and now Cardiff in the past week? His impact and what he delivers to the team.
I didn't get to watch the Cardiff game.
No one did.
Really. Yeah,
it just happened today.
Get out of here.
No, you'll get it when you listen to this.
Yeah. Well,
okay. So I ended up watching the Red Sox game until like 4 a.m, and then the Cardiff game started at like 6:30 or something. So I didn't watch it. I saw some stats. I thought it was impressive that he had as many passes as Cardiff. He definitely offers. He's a lot better at tackling than Henderson playing in that same role. He holds the ball better. I didn't see much to know like how he is at passing. This is going to be up to Alex as the resident tactician. The Red Star game was a weird one. We kind of dominated. We kind of didn't. Like there was spells in the game where we just completely controlled, and then spells in the game where we just had a lot of difficulties moving the ball. I don't know if that was like our team having issues just having a new lineup, or if that was Red Star giving us issues the whole time. But either way, I guess it kind of says something that I don't really know too much, and I was happy with the games. Like I didn't watch the games because I was at work for Red Star, and then for Cardiff it was early, and I just like caught some highlights, and I wasn't ever like worried about it. Everyone said he had a good game. So Alex, how about you? Did I miss you talking about it?
No, not yet. No.
We hadn't said a thing about him. We hadn't said a thing about him. Alex, take it away.
I thought he was good. I mean, it's a small sample size so far that we have of him at Liverpool, but I've been excited by what he's brought so far. I like that he makes our attack more unpredictable. We don't get stuck going down the wings as much, and we don't rely on our fullbacks to cross. And especially against the giant center backs that Cardiff had, we did not need to be doing that. And I thought we found a lot of success combining through the middle.
Because looking at your Cardiff had, if I'm not mistaken, NBA rookie Mohamed Bamba as one of their center backs. And that dude's like a clean 7 feet tall. That's huge.
Compared to our front three, every center back is probably 7 feet tall because we have a pretty short front three. So I liked that he would take people on. I like that he would link up the play aggressively, where he would be looking to go forward whenever possible. So I like that he's come in, and it looks like he's finally got what Klopp has been trying to tell him. And as he's been sitting out longer, you've been hearing more from the press and the people that know, saying Klopp was very specific with Fabinho, saying, look, it's going to take some time, but don't worry, you will come into this role and you will take it over. And we're starting to see that, and I love it. And especially when Shaqiri came on, because that worked really well. And I like that you talked about Shaqiri as a spark plug, and I think he's got swag. And I think Fabinho is bringing a little more swag to the midfield with just the confidence on the ball.
Yeah. He seems to approach it with a mindset of wanting to just control whatever is going on around him. And I think that's one of the things that we always did miss with Henderson trying to play that role. And as we've mentioned, that was never really Henderson's strength anyway. Right. He's not a defensive mid. He's not that type of player. And so he was trying really hard to control in the same sort of way. But it was so uncomfortable for him, and you could see it and how the way it impacted him. And it's a tricky thing now is like, what do you do with Jordan Henderson at this point, knowing that we asked him to do something that was not his strength. It didn't really go super well for him on a personal statistical standpoint. And then now we've bought players that do all that stuff like better. It's weird. It's very weird. But to go back to Fabinho, I think one of the things that really shows us a lot about him is the fact that he showed up and then instantly got like an illness,
right.
And had to deal with like, he showed up, he's trying to learn an entirely new league. He's trying to get used to all of his new teammates. He's trying to figure out how this, how the league functions, how different England is from where he's been. And then he gets like super sick. And
it's like learning English as well. He's
right.
Just settling in. Like he didn't know the language.
Oh man. He had to overcome a lot to get, and then so to get in and have an immediate impact in the way that he has so far. Really like that. Really like what he's bringing quite a bit. I can't wait to see what else he can do for the team for sure. We did have Andrew. I like that you mentioned that for it being a 4-0 victory against Red Star. It was kind of a weird game. And then for this being a 4-1 victory against Cardiff, it seemed like it was a much more ironed out game in general. We were looking for confidence to get back on the offensive form that we kind of been struggling with a little bit as this season has gone. That's 2 4-goal games in a row in 2 different competitions, Andrew. You think that, do you think we're past all that now, or is this kind of a Cardiff isn't good and we took advantage?
I mean, first off, I don't think either team is good. I think we're on our way back. I didn't see enough to say like we were totally dominant offensive. We didn't take every single chance we had. We didn't have as many chances as I would like against Red Star.
Mm-hmm. I will say this about the Cardiff match. The statistics were as follows: 80% possession, 19 shots, 7 on goal versus 2 shots, 1 on goal for Cardiff. So it was very much like a statistically dominant performance.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, once we scored and blew that open, I mean, there was no stopping us in the Cardiff match. They really didn't have any chances. There was just that one error that was caused by the deflection from Van Dijk. But other than that, they really had nothing the entire match. And then again, Red Star, we scored a lot. We had a lot of chances, but we didn't have as many clear-cut chances as I would like, especially against a team that is so bad. And I mean, playing at Anfield, we've seen other teams beat them just as bad. So it's not like it was something out of the ordinary for us to beat that team 4-0.
Yeah, they're not good. and they're not good. And I think that's crucial moving forward to when you've had and this is something that Alex and I talked about last time around, that it's we had that really difficult stretch in the schedule, and we were able to survive it and really do well in that stretch. So to then get out of that and have these 2 matches right here that became, solid multi-goal victories. I mean, that's huge, and that's huge for confidence, especially confidence moving forward against the team that's sitting in 4th place right now in the league with Arsenal. So, Alex, let's talk a little bit about the confidence that we're going to have and carry into this matchup against Arsenal. They are, of course, 2nd in the league in goals. They scored 24 so far on the year. The major statistical difference between our 2 teams is that they've given up 13 goals. And we're a lot of the Liverpool goals, of course. Out of the 20 goals Liverpool has scored, like 8 of those were in 2 matches. Yeah. The beginning of the season and then this past week. So, looking into this matchup right now, how important is it to have that sort of confidence in our offense, in our goal scoring ability again?
It's massive. There had been some doubts about what we were doing, and could we recreate kind of the overwhelming attack that we had last season. And while it's different, it's still creating a lot of chances, and now we're finally starting to take them. It was fantastic to see Salah score again, and it was even better, I think, for right now to see Mane score twice again, because it had been a while since he had scored, and his goals were immensely well taken. The first goal that he hit, if not for the net, would still be traveling in a straight line. He absolutely hit the crap out of that. So that is huge going into this match against Arsenal, because, like I've said before, this has been a fixture away at the Emirates that we've traditionally struggled. Last season we went up 2-0, nearly blew it, and came back and drew 3-3. So this is something that we need to be all guns blazing and feeling it to go in and win, because we've seen that we can go there and win, but we had to have that belief that we had done the right things leading up to the match. And now I think we have.
Yeah, we've shown progress. We've shown the ability to right the ship a little bit in some of the areas that have gone a little bit wrong. And it could be argued that, maybe, I don't want to say maybe Arsenal has done a little bit of the same. I'm looking at their results on the season so far. Of course, they started the year off rough. 2-0 to City, 3-2 loss to Chelsea, gave up a goal to West Ham. I mean, it doesn't get much more worse. Yeah, so bad. But I mean, giving up 2 goals to Cardiff, a goal to Newcastle. I mean, they gave up at least a goal, if not multiple goals, in like the first 5 matches that that played in the Premier League season so far in that slate. So it shows improvement on them to be able to, to since then have not given up as many goals and to have scored more goals as well. They're kind of fairly improving team. I can't really say that as much because their last match was a draw against Crystal Palace. So it's a weird one. What do we even know about Arsenal right now under why did I just draw a blank on their new manager's name?
Unai Emery.
Unai Emery, thank you. So what do we even know about them right now?
I mean,
I was just going to say, I know they're in 4th, and they're right back where they belong.
That is it. I mean, there's nothing more Arsenal in my mind than sitting right on the edge of being in a championship spot, but not really quite in the running for like 2nd or 1st place.
Right.
Right when they tied last week and went back into 4th. One of my good friends who's an Arsenal fan texted me and said, right back where we belong, and sent me like the emoji with the smiling face and the hands sticking up, really happy and comfortable that he's there. But I think it's just funny to see them score a lot of goals and be happy. Mm-hmm. It seems like everyone on that team is in a place where they're all really excited to be there again. They're all excited with their tactical changes that Emery's made compared to Wenger. It seemed like it was just a little bit dull. And now you see Ozil smiling after assisting incredible goals. But I hope we wipe that smile right off his face.
It is, it's a different style of play. It's just there's so much different in their mentality. It seems like than, and I mean, any coaches that anywhere for a long period of time, you got to fight against stagnation, and that was not happening with Arsene. I think he had a phenomenal career, but Arsene Wenger just by the end of his career, it was stagnation. For sure. So, Alex, what's the change here? What's been different about them?
I think they're paying a lot more attention to detail in training, and you can see that a lot, especially in second halves. Emery has been really good about fixing the things that have been going wrong in the first half because they start games very, very poorly. And I mean, while they have been scoring a lot and they have been winning and they have been looking better, they've been overperforming quite a bit. They have been giving up a lot of chances, and they've been playing some very mediocre teams that have not been able to take them of late. And I think that is something for our attackers and midfielders to be licking their lips about, because they will get the space, they will get the chances to score, and they just have to take them. And Leno is a bit prone to mistakes, so obviously he will have an absolute blinder against us and save everything. But also, in addition to them turning things around a little bit, finding ways to get a Aubameyang, and Lacazette to play together, getting the best out of Ozil more often than not, working new players in like Guendouzi. They've got some injuries and they've got some suspensions, because Guendouzi got a red today in the Carabao Cup, and I believe we'll miss our match. So it'll be interesting to see what they come out with, because not only is their back line old without players like Bellerin and I can't remember who else is hurt, but mainly Bellerin, who's their starting right back, but they're super slow. And that is great to see against Salah and Mane, because they're all old as heck and they just can't keep up.
Yeah, I'm going back over their last several matches. Are you ready for some of these stats? You just mentioned the fact that they give up a lot of chances. Just looking at the statistics, in all of the last 4 matches they had, Palace, Leicester City, Fulham, Watford. I believe those are the last 4 Premier League. Yes, those are the last 4 Premier League matchups they had. In all of those, the Leicester match was the only match in which Arsenal had more shot attempts than the other team did. It was Arsenal held possession in just about all of them, but Crystal Palace had 16 shots, 3 on goal to draw 2-2. As mentioned, Leicester only had 8 shots, 2 on goal, but Fulham fired off 21 shots compared to Arsenal's 9. 4 on goal for Fulham, 7 for Arsenal. So 7 shots on goal out of 9. And of course, 5 of those ended up being goals?
Half of them were tap-ins.
Oh, man. They didn't even need to shoot. But then Watford had, 14 shots and 5 on goal compared to Arsenal's 9 and 2 in that matchup as well. So, yeah, they're a team that seems to give the other team – they may not always be good shot attempts at all, but they're a team that give the other team plenty of opportunities to at least attempt something. And you don't want to give Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah, and Sadio Mane attempts, at all. You don't want to just give them the opportunity to fire at will, because eventually they could, they may not make many of them if they're not trying hard enough, but they're the type of guys that have no problem firing at will and will gladly fire 17 shots apiece to get 2 goals out of it,
Right. And they're having a lot of issues that we used to have where it's not necessarily systematic that's leading to the chances, where sometimes it is, but most of it is down to just lack of individual quality for the players at the back. Like it's not a chance, it's the conceding of the penalty, but Mustafi's tackle against Palace was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my entire soccer watching life. So they're very dumb a lot of time. They're not very good at a lot of things. So I like that matchup.
For sure. They're in a transition. It's a transition this year, and those are always tricky. You don't have to look far back, for us Liverpool to see how some of the ugliness that has had to be ironed out from when Jurgen Klopp arrived at the club. So this is a prime opportunity to take advantage of them still being in that awkward transition phase and try to drop a bunch of goals against them. Andrew, what sort of lineup do you think Liverpool needs to come out there with? We've seen a couple of different shapes in the past week or so. If you look back, Cardiff, Red Star, Huddersfield before then, you've seen different shapes. It seems like we're hitting a midfield groove maybe with Fabinho, Wijnaldum, and Shaqiri. But what sort of lineup you think needs to happen here that gives Liverpool the biggest chance of victory?
Well, I rather than the lineup that I think needs to happen, I'm going to go with a lineup that I think is going to happen. I think we're going to go back to the our typical Premier League, Milner, Hendo, Genie, something along those lines. Maybe stick Shaq in there for someone, but unfortunately, as much as I'd like to see Genie, Shaqiri, and Fabinho just to see what it looks like against a better team, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to go back to the midfield 3 that we normally play with in the Premier League, trying to keep that consistency and really play our more experienced players to try to get a victory for us.
Do you feel good about that? Do you feel like that's going to be enough for victory?
I think that midfield is still much better than Arsenal's. I don't have an issue with starting that midfield. I'd like to see a change just because I do think that we would be better with players that are more suited to those positions. But I don't think that we would have issues against Arsenal's midfield with those three in.
Alex, what are your thoughts on what needs to happen for victory? And then, scoreline prediction?
I might just do that. I'm going to go with kind of a hybrid answer. I think Andrew is right in a sense. I kind of feel like Milner will come in for Lallana at the start, and it will be Fabinho, Gini, and Milner in the midfield just to get that cover and that work rate. Although I would love to see the three that are on form right now playing. I think as long as we don't get predictable like we have been, as long as we are sharp, because when we don't play at that kind of 9 o'clock a.m. kickoff time, we look really weird and like struggle with first touches and struggle with passing. So that's one thing that we can't afford to do, is be really sloppy like we've been in a lot of games. And it looks like we've kind of worked that out of our system. And so I think we have a great chance to go at them and get all 3 points away. So I'm feeling a 3-2 victory, and it's going to be a barn burner. It's not going to be one of those two really good teams playing each other and canceling each other out. It's just going to be quality and their defensive ineptitude.
Solid. Andrew, what about you?
For a scoreline prediction, I'm going to go 4-1. Get the big win. I think their defense is.
All right. I was wondering. I was like, 4-1 loss.
Wow. No, their defense is terrible. Like they don't, and their starting lineup is just out. Are they going to start like? So, Jenkinson, Lichtsteiner, Guazello. How do you say his name?
Pinduzi.
That's definitely not Pinduzi. Is that?
Oh, are you thinking of the center back that played today?
Yeah, it's that center back that played today.
Vuvuzuela.
Yeah, Vuvuzuela is gonna play probably. I don't know. Like I can't. I don't even know the names of their defenders.
I think Xhaka's going to be left back, and I like that even more.
Oh yeah. Gosh.
What are they gonna stick Nacho Monreal back there? No way.
Hurt.
He's injured. Like it's just they're like on the backups of the backups of the backups on their defense. It's really just their backups, but their defense is so bad that it looks like backups of backups of backups.
Right.
Scrotum Mustafi looks like he should be someone's backup.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna handle it. I don't see any issues in this game.
Fully agreed. The deciding point here really comes down to whether or not Arsenal is going to be able to get goals against us. And I feel like if they're going to be playing a type of style in which they play us straight up and we end up being able to control the ball a little bit, especially if we do play Fabinho and have him in a control the pace sort of role there as a defensive mid. There's a solid chance I could see us, I could see us getting the shutout, the clean sheet against them. But I don't think it'll happen in this one. But I could see them only getting 1 goal, and we win 3-1.
Ooh.
I talked myself into that. I was going to go a completely different route when I started monologuing over here. And then by the end of it, I was like, no, wait, here's this idea. So that's what I'm going with.
I like it.
Let us know, listener, what you think, your scoreline prediction, or what you think about the match and your scoreline prediction. There we go. That's the way that sentence was supposed to sound. You can tweet at us, of course, always, at YNTA Podcast. And hey, do us a favor. If you know some people that would enjoy listening to this podcast and you haven't told them about us, well, tell them about us. That'd be great. Retweet our links to our episodes, whatever it may be. Get the word out there. If you enjoy it, then smash that like button. Smash it.
And they'll tell 2 friends. And then they'll tell 2 friends. And that's like 10 people right there.
social media marketing in terms of podcasts and blog posts and all that, it's nothing but a pyramid scheme, and I'm A-okay with it.
Same.
Perfectly fine with it. All right, Alex, Andrew, shout out to Will and Zach being good parents and trick-or-treating with their kids tonight, while the rest of us lock ourselves in our houses and turn the lights off. This has been You'll Never Talk Alone. Hey, Andrew, why don't you sign us out?
Ooh, I wasn't ready to sign us out on this one. What should I say? Okay. So today was Halloween, and I'm gonna tell a Halloween story.
Please don't.
Oh, just don't do it.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead, buddy. Just do what you need to do.
Okay, so once there was a spooky skeleton, and he was really scary.